Hello, Odd Job Doer here, and today we got a hot one. But you can see here, I got my hat on, so that's helpful, and I'm drinking some water, eventually. So what we have here is an old swamp cooler, evaporative cooler, however you want to call it, and as you can see down there, a hole. Now granted, if you have the situation, slap some tape over there, and come to one of the other corners, do a hole, down there, about the same height if you can remember, and you can put a float valve back in there. So, this kind of a job here to replace this unit is going to take all the trades. It's going to take some electric, with some wiring. It's going to take a little bit of plumbing with the waterworks down there somewhere, and carpentry, which on this one here is very light because I'm assuming the new unit hopefully will fit on some kind of a brick system like that. This thing here takes in air from the outside through watered down vents here and pumps it into the house. So, step one on this was get another unit. We got that, and I'll show you in a little bit. Step two is to uninstall this beast. And I'm going to start by taking these side panels off here. Let's see how that goes. You just kind of reach down here at this bottom part here, hopefully there's no spiders in there, and lift up on it. Could be rusted down. Let me try another one. Alright, so down here, get down here, and you lift up. Alright. So, behold, the inside of a swamp cooler. Now some things, heavy. Some things you can usually recycle from these if it's not too old is the pump down there. That's probably an aftermarket pump for this one here, but that does go out. Motor looks almost shot. I mean, it has some rust. I know it worked. It worked before they decided not to fix this anymore. Float valve though, that's going out. So pump I'll pull out and set aside for whatever. The motor I'll probably pull off later. But to start with, I'm going to take off all these panels and truck them out of here. And then what else we got going? Panels. Then I'll find the electricity and shut that off. The new one. Now on to the new one so far. It's an FS650A, made in USA, from Phoenix Manufacturing. Right, side discharge. And I already took the top snap top off here. And look at that. Nice, shiny new. Okay, well this is kind of shiny over here. Alright, screw and stuff. That'll probably rust in a few years. Who knows? And, yeah, some packaging. So, what I'll do with this is, after I get the other one out, I will hand truck this over there and then finish the unboxing there. Keep this as nice and safe as I can. Alright. For the electricity, we got over here a circuit breaker panel. You see this? Pop this open and get this open like here, and then look at all the treasures. A bunch of words and stuff. So I'm going to look here and see if anything says, swamp cooler. And then I'll flip the switch off and check inside on the thermostat to see if it's still lit up at all. So I'll do that, and then we'll get back out to take it apart. So normally that float valve there with the copper tubing coming out, would be down here where this hole's at. So we got a little shut-off valve there. And so, to get these things here worked on, it's real handy to have, the adjustable wrench comes into play. Or, for you more exact folks out there, you can do a little half-inch wrench thing. Or 13 millimeters for the other people in the world. And, so that's off there. To undo the plumbing, you basically turn off the water supply to it, which has been done, and then undo that nut, and the copper tubing should come out, which technically has been done because it's been cut and put to the side. So water's done. Power now, we got is up in here. Power, as you can see, somewhere. Let's see, power. Right there, you can see it comes in to the side of the machine, and there's a distribution box of sort there, which has some ancient scriptures on it. If you can't see right in here. That is going to be important. But first, we'll unscrew this screw. Oh, my camera doesn't melt out of here. It's getting hotter. It's probably, I don't know, 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Maybe Celsius. Nah. Alright, there's one on both sides of this one here. Take this off. And should use gloves in this case, just in case we have any kind of spiders in there, but let's just give it a little shaky shake and see what happens. Ah, yes. We have a mess. So, what we got here is 2 wires coming in, it looks like. Mind you, I got the power killed off to this, hopefully. And, got there being shot good. Yeah. Alright, so a bunch of wires coming in. And now, I'm going to kind of separate them here a little bit, or try to. Maybe not. They don't all have to be friends. Okay, so we have black, red. How should we do this? If you look at it this way, what you got here is something for the pump going, and something here for your... No, pump is here. And next to it is the motor. So pump is just like the regular 110 outlet. There's 2 more leads going off, because if you want to do the bottom here, you can do a 230. So this is 115, or 120 probably. And you got some wires here, and here, here, and a whole lot of greens. All the greens are ground. We got that figured out. Great. Then we got one set of wires coming in. Looks like it's the ground. And we got a common going to a black, which goes to the pump, and a red, which goes to the pump. That I'm assuming might be a power and high or low. But I'm gonna have to study this here. So I'm gonna get to studying and figure out which is which. Because you basically, on the switch inside, you have 2 stages. You have high motor, low motor, and it's all figured out when this is wires. And if you look at this here, boom, black goes to 120 volt pump. White goes to 120 volt. Brown, 240 volt. Orange, 240 volt. And then green's ground. So basically got your black on the pump and your white for the pump and then ground. And then for the motor, a little bit tricky. You got black is high, red is low, white is 120 common, orange would be 240, and green's ground. And then what plugs into there is black is high, red is low, green is ground. And that plug is actually over here. Right, electric. A little bit confusing, but really this here goes with the motor, so it's going to go bye-bye, and depends on how the new motor is going to be wired in. So I'll mark that, and then basically I can show you slightly maybe up and around here. Up in here, just like a little thing that you have to unscrew to take this whole cable out and pull it straight out. So I'm going to get to marking, and put the camera away and get it back after I test this thing out. Alright, so after you get that hot missile wire all done, you just pull out from that hole there that looks like someone might have put in there by themselves or something, but whatever. And now, last but not least, we got the electric, we got the wire, and we got a bunch of little screws. So, you can see them in here. This, right there, I think's one. I don't know. Right, so a little screw there. And usually I do these by hand, you know. But today it's hot. I'm angry. I'm not gonna mess around. So they get this treatment right here. Right, they're probably just little half-inch, quarter-inch screws. And they are what holds this thing to the ducting on the other side. So I got them on this side here, there's some on the other side, and maybe the top, bottom, I don't know. I'll look around, get those all done, and it's ready to take this thing out. It's getting separated. There were no screws on the bottom, which is great because that'd be hard to get to anyways. And so yeah, separated. You can see some debris in there that needs to be swept out from the rest of this monster. So basically then we've got a hand truck over here, a little hand truck, and we just need to you know, get it out of here now. So say goodbye to this here, and we'll get ready to work on the new one. Alright, truck on away. And just like that, the new one's in. Only a little bit different here. Maybe you can see is that on the sides here, that's where the screws were driven. Because on this one here, there's a flange that comes out, and so I sunk some screws in there. Likewise, this isn't done. I will come back when I get the tape to do some metallized tape like this stuff here around it to make sure it's more airtight-ish. So, back to this at hand, and what we need to now do is open her up. By the way, when you put this thing on, get as level as you can. Level it. So at the bottom there, this one has a whole gauge there. You just kind of grab that bottom, can lift up. Like so, and then it comes away. So, we'll go ahead and get to the rest of the sides maybe. And yeah. Something down there. Crawling around. But anyways, we'll get this opened up because next thing we're going to be working on is the electrical connector. So this one here has from the wall, comes out, if you remember the laid earlier, comes down to here. Of course that looks a little different now, because what I'd done, took this part off here. See that? This is I guess a 3/4 by 3/4, and it no go. So this is also a pain to work with. I mean, it's not the worst, but what we got in its place here is one of these boxes here. You see, you've probably seen before, 3/4, 3/4, and a back part where you can pull your wires up and stick them through the hole. And a nice gasket on this thing here, solid, right? So weather tight when you tighten that back down. And to make this happen, we got some extra parts here. Right, get it all self-adjusted here. So the moral of the story is, this one here should connect down that pipe assembly down here. So that's fine on this part. Then what we got here is a reducer. This here has 3/4 on the outside, and I'll probably do a thing of Teflon tape just to run it for fun. And this here goes right into here. So 3/4 to 1/2 inch reducer, and this here is called a slip nipple, right? And so from the inside of this hole, where there's a box in there now, that's going to be coming out, and this here is going to be screwed onto it. Maybe with Teflon tape too. I don't know. Anyways, this here should all go together, and this is going to keep that box up against it, nice and tight, hopefully. All right. So, to get into the guts of this thing, we need what looks like either a slotted screwdriver or a 5/16 right here on top. So I'm going to choose a 5/16 nut driver. Right? And we just get those things unscrewed. One side, and before it falls to the ground, I will get my hand underneath there to capture anything else. Right. And brains down here. Here's the inside wires. Alrighty. Alright, so I got this here all tightened up, good, and tight. And then we have this part here, so it's going to go right there, get out of there. And to put that there first, we're going to take a slip nipple through here and start throwing it in without crossing the threads. Alright, get that nice and hand tighten. But guess what? Hand tighten's pretty wonky. So, we have something else. Come to find out, this part here, of the slip nipple, it actually takes a 1-inch socket. So, beefy, right? So from the other side, I will put it over it and continue to tighten, not over strength, just enough to really get it snug and nice. Let's see, actually I'll take this off. Do a little bit by hand first. Okay, so nice and tight. And now we'll work with the wires going through here. There's tight now. Now it's time for doing some connections. So what I got here, basically if I just flop this back over, this side here, that's for your pump, this side here is for your motor. So I'll put it back here, no trickery. So your pump has 3. Green, black, white. Your motor has, and in the middle here, there's a ground floating around. And over here there is, 4? There's yellow, white, black, green, and red. So that's like 5-ish. So right off the bat, if you have the manual, it should look something like this here. This here is for 120 volt. So it shows here, green's the ground, black's power, usually reds are common, and so your black goes to the pump, a pump electric switch. Your green goes to green, which goes to ground, and your white goes to white, which goes to your common. Now, pretty much all the whites, except for one, is going to be all connected to the same, and all the greens will be connected to the same ground. So the one down here now, 15 amp, 120 volt, 5-pin connector. Your red goes to low, black goes to high, white goes to white, green goes to blah, and your orange don't need. Orange is for, I believe you have a 240 volt system. So how we're going to deal with that orange one is pretty simple. Since we don't need it, we don't need that much of it hanging around, I'm going to go ahead and bring it back to here, give it a cut, and take a little bitty nut, wire nut here, and screw it on top just so nothing can connect with it. Nice and tight. So, now this is already prepped ready to go. Now this over here, this is a mess. Look how long that is. We don't need this long of wire anymore. And now if I have to come back and redo this or put another one in, I might kick myself, but we're going to cut it maybe about here, and then we can, maybe here. Bring them in through here, and then down and around here so I can make connections. And I'm going to start with what I think is from the pump side. This one here. Alright, so I got that there. We got our big cutter on it. And our robot there is good. Whammo. Then, I'll go ahead and got a knife here. Strip some of this wire back. You want to be careful. You just want to cut the outer sheath and not the inner wire sheaths. There's a special tool they make for this, but I don't have it here right now. So cut away, pull it back. Alright, so we got some paper that can go away. We got some nice shiny new wiring here. Black, white, and copper. Alright, we don't need any of this extra stuff hanging off. So, set that aside. Just make sure you don't nick any of this here. Right, any of this stuff wired here. Copper you're pretty much safe with. Just get that paper off. And the common's fine too. Then what we'll do is twist it on back and stick it through the hole. Something like so. And reach in here and pull it through. Tight. There we go. Right. And ta-da! Just like that. So this here, I can start making my connections. And do I really want that much wire hanging out? Yeah, that's fine. So, the black one here, and if I look from the old days, I got this thing here. There's this little bitty smashed up tin foil, which says what it was. But, I'm pretty sure it says pump on it. You guys read that? Alright, yeah, see, it says pump right there, right? Yeah. So we got a stripper. Yeah. Get the right wire gauge in there, which is probably a 12 wire gauge. And give it a little strip like so. And the white one, I'm going to strip down to while I'm here. There. Copper one, don't need stripping. And then we'll take a black one for the pump. Give it a little twisty around it. What I usually do, if it's strainable, I twist the strands. And then I twist the wire here. So. And put a nut on it. Through a nut. Like so, make sure it's all pretty. And twist the nut on. So, each wire, give it a little tug on the nut, give it a little tug on the wires, is tight. Now then, I'm going to continue doing this method. The grounds will all get twisted together, and like I said, I'll do the white to the white on the pump here, which will also go to the white on this other part, because this is the tricky part here. The wire strands over here on this guy, there's goes the motor. You got this here, the black that goes to your high, I believe, and the white down here went to the low, or the black on that one. But I'll double check the manual and make sure it says that the black on this one here, black, oh, it goes to black, which is high. Red goes to red, which is low, which is actually one. The hold, all done. So with this here all done, we can just take this here and bring it out and under, and somehow bend this wire mess all back up in this pocket and put it underneath the top of here. So let's see, hope that's all clear, everything's all tight, and see how I want to do this. Bend these all like so. Alright, and this here goes like this. This mess just goes all up in here, and you put the screws back into the top. Okay, those bolts on top are tight, and I just put this gasket on here, backing on, and that is it for the connection. For electricity anyways. Alright, snug down. Next we'll do is the pump that's installed for the water. This right here is a little bleed off valve that has a hose that you can attach that to go down the drain kit if we install it to bleed off water, keep it fresh. I don't like that option. I'm going to keep that just open so it recirculates, and then every so many months I'll tell the people to come out here and pull this plug out and clean out the water and then do it that way until they can get maybe like another pump to pump the water out. For right now, I just make a mess all day. So the kit here consists of this right here, plastic nut, maybe nylon, this grommet here, a washer, and this tube thing that I put Teflon tape on. So to assemble it, it goes something like this. This part here goes down through the hole with the washer on the inside, like so. This nut underneath there, this goes up underneath the bottom, and that whole thing is hand tightened. Alright, a little bit of overstrength, not too much. This thing here, the Teflon tape, goes in here. You don't need Teflon tape, but I think it does help it to come out and put back in later on. There. And it's all hand tightened nicely without cracking it. Don't over tighten it. Then you're good to go with that. Then also you might see here a little bit of debris. That stuff fell here. That stuff's going to be taken out of here before you use it. Next we'll do is the water hookup. Put water in this thing. You got this little flotation thing. When the water gets higher, this goes like this and it cuts off this valve. This valve consists of a compression nut here, which comes away, and in there's a sleeve. We'll need that for the copper tubing. There's a jam nut. This will come away too. And then we got a little washer thing here, this red thing, washer. This all goes on the outside. This goes from the inside out a hole. Now, I spent 7 hours looking for a hole in this thing because it says choose the hole that you want to use. I wanted to find out that the hole is this thing right here. So right there, we're just going to bang it out. And I find the best thing to use on banging out holes is this right here, special screwdriver tool. So, watch your speakers. This might get a little bit loud. And I'm going to pick the, I guess you could do a high one. I'm going to take the bottom one there. Built strong. Okay, so I'm going to hit it real hard now. So, yeah, might so it goes pause for this here. This right here, what you'll need to adjust later by bending this rod, goes in here and out. We got our washer on and jam nut. Now, inside here, I want to make sure that this part here is up and down straight on the valve. So kind of like so. And then I use a little adjustable wrench on the inside. And like a, get on there. .5/16 on the outside. Helps you can see inside too. Just kind of snip it up. Alright. Alright. So that there's ready, except for this here has to be adjusted. Yeah, we're going to take a shot at it right now. Show you here. Like that, I'm just going to kind of bend it, because which one's a 2, I think, and a half water level from the base. Which is a half up. So let's see here, that's too high. Slide. Bend it off. Excellent. Like that. And as you can see, that's the most matting part of this all, probably. So I'll have to play this more and get to work on the motor in. So there's a mount right here for it, and it's adjustable if you want to take a closer look at that. There's a nut over here. You can adjust that to loosen it and move this in and out. And then there's these little brackets like so that will hook in on the sides. Yeah, right there. Underneath, and you tighten it to hold it in. So I'll give you a side shot here of me trying to put this motor in. Like that. Let's see, motor. Alright, motors are heavy. Let's keep that in mind. Alright. So that fits right in there. And that fits perfectly. So then, slap one of these things on it. Let's see, underneath here. Up on top. Alright, needs a little bit of a loosening. Well, I got 4 hands here, folks. Well, let me get this figured out. And get it mounted. The bracket right here is all tight. It's not going to go anywhere, hopefully. And now we got to put the belt on. And the belt's pretty easy to do, usually. Put it like this here. Start on the top here, bring it down, and put it in the groove at this bottom one here. Just kind of roll it as you put it on. Don't get your fingers caught. There. Then you want to look for tension. You want to squeeze in, it should deflect a 1/2 inch or 3/4. I think that's good enough. Right. Now, something I don't have right now to finish this job, so I have to come back on it, is I'll show you at the bottom. So if you need to adjust this, there's a nut here to undo, and a slide one here, and one on the other side at this level. You loosen them, you move this in and out to get the right tautness in there, and then tighten them back up. The other thing to look for that we'll need here is over here. This is something I do not have in my arsenal bag right now, but these bearings need oil. So you lift this little, hello in there, lift that little thing up there, and you put in, and for this particular model, it wants 30 weight automotive oil, non-detergent. So I'll have to get that and come back and finish that part up. But next we'll do some waterworks. So it's this connection down here, and that spigot over there. So enter some copper tubing. I've kind of measured this off a little bit, but we need to cut it. So copper tubing cutter. So you put on like this, unscrew this part, screw down tight and snug, and then you start spinning it. Like so, and then you tighten it again. Spin it like so, and you tighten it again. And just keep doing that until you get through it all. Alright, for the side down here, for this faucet back here, we've got this little adapter. There's a washer in there, hose bib, so it'll go on there, and compression fitting here. So what you need on this end here, you want your compression nut. Yeah. Put that on, and then you want your actual compression sleeve. Stick it on there. And then I'm going to put this thing here on, all the way in tight, and bring these up together and screw it together. Get down to where it's, hard to turn. Then you can add some tools to it. So I'll do, how do I do this? Whoops. Make sure it's all on there tight. Just go wrench on one end. And half inch on the other. And snug them together. Maybe a quarter turn or so. Half turn. Maybe 500 turns. Okay. So that there's tight there. And the other end, we do the same thing almost. First, we'll go ahead and hook it on down there. First I'll open up the valve to make sure there's no bugs in there, get some water out, and then I'll put this on and spray it out. You can bend copper tubing a little bit unless you have a special tool. So I'm just going to kind of snake around here. And some nice big wide bends to it. Right. Alright, so I got that in, snaked around here, and now we'll put it back in there. So, Right. Once again, press the nut and then sleeve. I'll put it in there and snug it down good. A little bit tighter on this end. Alright, so this end here is a troublemaker. Right there, hard to see. But it's actually a little bit too thick still. So I'm going to try cutting it again and getting this beveled down. Alright, so I think it all set here. Got your tube. Goes in like so. Get a little bend here. Get in there, get your nut up against there. Start tightening it. Trying to cross the threads. Alright. And then just tighten that nut on down. And that should do it for the waterworks. I'm going to turn on briefly here to make sure it doesn't leak. Nope. So when that valve trips up like that, I'll shut it off. Oh. Brief time's over. So, there we go. Last part is to plug in the motors and the pump, which you're looking at up in there. Up in there, see? So, pump, pretty easy, just in the standard way. You can grab it. Seat all the way in, and this right here, as well as wires, only goes in one way, and that way is like this, I think. All right. Now then, your pads here. And take a garden hose, pre-soak them all down when the time comes, install them the opposite way they came out. You just shove them up in here, rest on that thing down there, that ledge. And this here is done. I just have to adjust the water, turn on the water, adjust it, clean out the inside first, all the different debris there, and go flip the breaker back on. And what's the important part here is to lube these bearings right here. Hello! Right, which I don't have the oil for that. So, job doer. Any questions, comments, leave them down below. And thanks for watching. Job doer out.